Welcome back to the Random Vids channel. In this video, I'll fix this carpet cleaner. Now that's a good looking pie. If you don't stop, I'm going to get hurt. I'm just gonna wing it because it doesn't really matter. Whoa! That's a normal umbrella. This is my umbrella. So this actually has two different things wrong with it. One of them is when you pull the trigger, then the valve in here gets stuck. And so then all the water drains out of the bottle. And then the second thing is when you turn this on, then it sounds kind of funny. I don't know if you can hear that. That's not how it's supposed to sound. So I'm going to have to take this apart and this part back here. To start, take this off and the cord. And then I'll use a T15 key to take out all the screws. Now that that's taken apart, this pops right off. And this comes out. So now I'll disconnect the valve with this tube. And then there's one screw here. Once I take out that screw, this whole valve should come off. So this is one of the parts that I'm going to have to replace. So I'll set that aside, and once I have the other one, then I'll just order both of them. And now I'll work on the problem down here. So now I'll take out the bin, flip it over. So I'll use the same Torx key to take out all of these screws. And then I'll use a Phillips head screwdriver to take out these. Okay, and as you can see, the belt is still in perfectly fine shape, so I'm guessing I'm going to have to replace the motor. What usually happens with these is since it's sucking up water, water also gets inside here, and then it gets in the motor, and then it starts corroding. Once it corrodes, something's going to stick, and then, like now, you can hear this rubbing sound. So it's still able to move, but not very well, and it'll probably start smoking if I turn it on. Okay, so this part just pulls off. And then now there's another screw, so I'll take this out. So I'll take out the brush roll before I do anything else. And I'll also take this part off. Okay, take that out. Okay, and then this should pull right off. There we go. Okay, so now I'll take out the wheels. There we go. So now there's a screw down in here. And now this whole thing comes off. And now the motor can come right out. And as you can see here, there is rust, which is corrosion, and that was probably because of liquid. And there's stuff inside of it, which is probably also rust. So I'll just buy a new motor and then put that in. So now I'll cut this. Okay, I unscrewed the ground wire, and then this one I'll cut near the motor. Okay, so now I'll buy another one of these and another one of these online, probably eBay, and then I'll come back to this project. Okay, so the parts came in. I ended up getting the whole tank portion with the valve attached because that's cheaper than just buying the valve. So that's what I'll be using, and then this is the new motor. As you can see, this one here is all corroded and this one's not. The only difference between these, I think this one was a newer model because it has little rubber things sticking out of the side of the gaskets. So I'll probably just cut those off with a knife. So now I'll reassemble everything. The first thing will be the motor. There's a small threaded hole here, so that's where I'll attach the ground wire. And then these I'll use butt splice connectors. So now I'll strip the wire, and then I'll strip these ends as well. And then I'll splice both of the white wires together and both of the black wires together. So how I'll do this is twist the end of the wire, insert it into one end of the splice connector, and crimp it. Give it a little tug, and it doesn't come out, so that's a good connection. And then I'll do the same thing for the other 3 wires. And now that both of the wires are connected, I'll take off the extra tabs on the gasket. So now that the motor is in there and properly seated, I'll attach this belt just because it'll be harder to do it once I put the cover on. And then I'll put the cover on. So now I'll just screw in all the screws. Okay, now I'll finish screwing in the screws. Now that I have all of these screws screwed in, I'll reattach the wheels. And now I'll put the brush back on. I'll reattach this piece and this piece. Okay, now that's all put together. Now I'll put this back on and reattach this. Now before I put it together the rest of the way, I'll test out the motor to make sure it works. So now that it's plugged in, I'll turn it on. And that sounds a lot better than it did before with this motor, as you can imagine. So now I'll put it together the rest of the way. So I think I'll just take this right off because then I won't have to deal with this handle. So then I'll just pop this back on here. That goes in there. And now, when you pull the trigger, it pops back out. Before it used to get stuck. So that works. And then I'll screw that in. And then I'll slide this part in here. Reattach the hose. And now this piece can go on. This piece clips in on both sides. There we go. And now all that's left to do is screw this in. Now that that's all screwed together, I'll put the little strainer back, and then I'll put the tank back in. With this in here, now it's all ready. And I'll test it out one more time, just to make sure it works. And now that it's plugged in, it works. So it's all set. Now I'll just wind up the cord again. And now it's all set. Anyway, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. I accidentally put a Torx head in here. This is supposed to be Phillips so that you can easily take it off. And now it's all fixed. Why do I have an extra screw?